Wake them up.
The atmosphere have vibes, and nothing can break it up. The girl them a wine non-stop. We are the drinks them in a my cup. We gonna party all night, all night. 24 parties we hit in a row. Tonight are the very last
Wake
show.
them up.
Before we ever turn the road.
Spread the word.
Girl them a release the load.
Tell them we're outside.
Hands up so everybody know, put your hands
Call
up.
them out.
If you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road.
Tell my mother not doing no show tonight. She say I'm mad. My mother know what Facebook is.
So we're ready, yeah we're ready, yeah we're ready.
People calling. I just got a call from Arima. They say a bandwagon coming down tomorrow for 1 o'clock.
We're ready,
Alright.
yeah we're ready,
This is the reminder.
we're ready, we're ready. The girl them a wait all week.
I know industrial language, I promise. For the people who keep telling me that their children love watching the show,
Thousands of chipped in feet.
it's all G-rated from now.
And everybody in a real nice mood. We gonna party all night, all night.
Wake up, mommy and daddy.
With painted body, clean credit and tainted money. Nobody
Settle
wanna
down.
dance by themselves. Everybody wanna dance on somebody. Well, let me see your hands up so. Everybody know put your hands up so. If you're ready for the road,
Are you ready?
let them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road.
14 hours away, 15 hours away, 1 o'clock tomorrow, outside the parliament.
So we're ready.
You ready?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. 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 Yeah, we're ready.
Like my new shirt?
We're ready. We're ready.
Insane Creations. Lila Machado, look up on my wall.
Look how the sun now raising up. On the count
Look, Lila just joined. Lila Machado, Insane Creations, they did this beautiful shirt.
Can't break it up. And nothing
Lila,
can
give them the
break it up.
contact information,
And nothing
please.
can break it up. And nothing can break it up. And nothing can
Aslan,
break it up.
the gloves will come off, but people tell me that the children watch the show, that for some reason the children like the show, so I have to be understanding. So look out for some.
We're ready for the road.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock,
We're ready for the road.
time to send a message to all of these mocking pretenders that the people is not taking it no more.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
People not taking it.
We're ready. 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 Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready.
You all know we have a massive following with this show. I deleted last night's video because the gloves came off, and of course we used some industrial language, and in the bright light of day I still have to, right? But like all of you, I was very upset about that chap, but I didn't know the amount of people that go to work and share the videos with their colleagues. I didn't know all of those things. I found out a lot of stuff today. So this is your show. This is not my show. I do the work. Yeah? Yeah? I do the work. But this is your show. You all have heard me refer to Trinidad and Tobago as the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You may not know why I say a banana republic, and I want to explain to you so you know. By definition, it's derogatory. A banana republic is a small state that is politically unstable as a result of the domination of its economy by a single export controlled by foreign capital.
Does it tell you that your heart is a fire? Oh yeah. And does it tell you that your pain is a lie.
They've been knowing that we're supposed to be diversifying for the past 50 years, but they're not diversifying. I hear people sharing the march all on Ian Allen and all of them, Burger King and KFC too. Listen, tomorrow's not a march, a gathering, but a gathering of citizens to send a message to the government, to the entire parliament, to all 41 of them that we fed up. What's been passing for governance in this country is no longer acceptable. We're not interested in having governments come and governments go, and the substantive condition of the country and the people not changing. We can't continue to have that as our situation. We cannot continue to be a banana republic. The reason they call a banana republic is because there's a company, and I don't want to call the company's name, that's heavily involved in the growing and selling of bananas worldwide. It's a massive industry. Bananas, believe it or not, is one of the top 5 selling foods in the world. It's on the list with coffee and tea. And bananas, massive. And in banana republics, that is countries that they just use the inhabitants as growers of bananas, and that's it. So, and in those countries, anytime a government comes to power that wants to diversify the economy, they destabilize the country, and is violent upheavals and all sort of bacchanal. The only time this country ever changed the political directorate away from what is the control, political, financier, backroom boys, secret society, handshake and colors and all this nonsense was the NAR, the National Alliance for Reconstruction. And those same backroom boys went and funded and helped, because everybody in Trinidad know. I mean, they may be different now, but back then, nobody was staging no coup in Trinidad. And the army, which should have known better, did nothing. We ended up in a country that almost ended up destroyed. And the purpose of that violent upheaval in 1990 was for one reason, and that was to destroy the National Alliance for Reconstruction. That's what it was for. Because the National Alliance for Reconstruction wanted to make this country a fair place. The National Alliance for Reconstruction wanted every creed and race to find an equal place. The National Alliance for Reconstruction broadened the democracy. We only had one radio station and one TV station when the NAR came to power. And then everybody got licenses, and we have 50 radio stations. We have 50 radio stations now because of Ken Gordon and A.N.R. Robinson. We are not in the IMF because of Selby Wilson and Mrs. Robinson. This is your history, and you should know your history, because what we're fighting for again is that kind of change. We're fighting for a slap down, a smack down of the political investor class. But I'm a different animal. I'm a different kind of animal. I tell people, when you come good. Because you play your play and I'll play my play after. I'm not Robbie. I'll wipe you out. Off the map completely. So if you're coming to attack the democratically elected government, you will find yourself facing real problems. And that's how government's supposed to work. Because you're supposed to defend your democracy. You're supposed to be able to say, this is a nation where every creed and race finds an equal place. Where all the people of this country get the same amount of access to government goods and services. When you, last election, 2015, I ran as an independent candidate. And I organized a music truck. And I walked from Bagatelle to Caranash. And that's literally an L. Come straight down, south, head west. And you could have said, without knocking on a door, who lives in these communities, just by the conditions that the government left, the drains, the sidewalks, the roadsides, the roads in. When you were passing through Westmoorings and Goodwood Park and then everything manicured, nice, sparkling. And this is not the residents doing that, because this is the provision of government services as they're entitled to. But when you're in Bagatelle and La Puerta and Factory Road and Covine and Mason and Abbey Pujad and Big Yard, when you're passing through poor people area, sufferation from the government. And that had to change. Because you can't vote people into power and they not take care of all the people of the country equally. That can't happen. That mustn't continue. Now, there was a time before the advent of the great equalizer, and history will record the advent of the internet broke all the rules, and social media changed the game permanently. Social media is such a powerful impetus for change. The Arab Spring was able to happen. Social media allowed that to happen. If they didn't have a social media, the United States of America would never have had a black president. It is social media that bypassed the traditional bought and paid corporate control backroom boys media. We have ours, the Trinidad Guardian and the Trinidad Express, because don't let nobody fool you. That's not all the news there is, you know. I was watching TV and I tell somebody, said, you see what they're telling you is the news? Here are these other things that are going on. And they said, wow. Social media allows you to know, and social media allows you to share. Social media bypasses their controls. Faris Al-Rawi, the Dapper Don, Peter Pan, is going to the parliament tomorrow to try and turn Facebook off in the most dictatorial and oppressive way. And we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, if we do not want to live in a Baghdad-esque banana republic, we need to stand against that. That's why I'm going to the parliament tomorrow, to tell Faris no. Because we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to be as brave as every citizen of every country that works today, that went through whatever it is they had to go through to get to a functional country, to wrest it from their versions of the backroom boys who control your money and control the value of the money in your pocket and the price of the food in your fridge. They control the quality of your life, and that has to change, because nobody in a democracy has more power than the people. People have all the power. The people have all the power. In a democracy, Keith Christopher Rowley is your servant. He's your employee. He doesn't move you aside to pass through traffic. That is madness. And if their justification is because the Muslims have guns, go and take away the Muslims' guns. And if their justification is these 2x4 gangs violent, put down these gangs. And if our police, too fat and lazy to run and investigate, bring in foreigners, rent them, go to MI5, go to Scotland Yard, go to the Israeli Defense Force. Now, don't let me say Jews, because then they'll cause a Jew and Muslim war on the wall. I don't want that. But you could go and bring people to this country that ends it all. Ends it all. You bring serious law enforcement to work in this country, fellas will come and hand you their gun. And they'll bring other people gun and hand you that too. So we're done, you know. We're done. But we've never had that. We've had games, nonsense. Long pants, short pants, police. Everybody playing the fool. Everybody playing the fool. We don't have a real country. It never feels like one. You know you go and make a report and you write it down. I went and make a report for a threat against my life. Foreign law enforcement gave us information. I gave them all the information. All. I even have, and was sent to see, I couldn't save it, a picture of the man that was paid to kill me. Foreign law enforcement based in Trinidad and Tobago. No joke. This is real thing I'm telling you here. I gave that report to the police. I have a receipt for that report and I gave to the police. I've never even had a phone call, a follow-up. And that's a real serious situation. The people who get robbed and raped and they can't get thief, I don't know what they get. I don't know what happens to those. But it's not a real country. And it's not run like a real country. It's run like a banana republic. The backroom boys, the political financiers, the investors, and all of them, they go and sit down, like they sit down on Chinese Boy boat down in Chagaramas, or whoever house up in Cascade, the latest place. I hear they concoct Email Gate in Goodwood Park. And they go to sit down around dining room tables, drinking single malt scotch, watching little, anyway, I cool myself, and plan the dysfunctionality of this nation. They concoct, and not just the PNM, not just the PNM, because the UNC stink to the core. The UNC nasty, and every time I see somebody come on my wall and tell me that is not Kamala to blame, is the people around her, I'm wondering, so you want somebody as Prime Minister who can be fooled? Or, because you're saying, she picked them thinking they were shiny and spanking sweet and sparkly, but they turn out to be bad. She doesn't know how to do due diligence. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who sit down in government since NAR days, who know all of these people she playing with, because she and them learn shining panda shoes. Miss me with that. Miss me with that foolishness that concocted in the head of a fella by the name of Rodney Charles, who that's his excuse. Not Kamala to blame. It's the bad people in the UNC. Well, I want to tell you something. When you vote for Kamala, you're voting for all of them. All. So tell me again. You have a government in power now whose members have fought each other publicly. Colm Imbert has said the nastiest things about Keith Rowley. Keith Rowley's financing chief, Emil Elias, said Colm Imbert should be in jail. Colm Imbert owe Emil $55 million according to a court. This is who you go every 5 years and line up and say, any, mini, miny, mo. Donald Trump is not going to have a full term in office. They're going to impeach Donald Trump. They're probably going to impeach him in his first year. They're not letting go. And every time he slips, the systems that are in place takes him apart. So all the talk that Donald Trump wanted to talk when he campaigning, when he actually reach into a system that works, talk can't save him there. And he could tweet and twit what the hell he want. He hemorrhaging stuff, and I don't want to get caught up because like a lot of people who living in China, they know more about what's going on in everybody else's place, but where they blew, where they planted. And the point that I'm trying to make is, in a real country, Faris Al-Rawi and his family and One Alexandra Place and Chandra Sharma and Patrick Manning would have all had questions to answer before real law enforcement. Somebody that make a jail. What went on with One Alexandra Place? You see, the government was dissolved. This is what Rudal Monilal told the nation. Rudal Monilal told the nation that the government was dissolved. Yet, and that's quite 2010, the government was dissolved. The only authority that the government had after that dissolution of parliament, the only authority that they had after that was in case of emergency, political instability, war, national disaster. That was the only power the government had, but yet they were able to enter into a lease for One Alexandra. That is totally an illegal act. Have you ever heard of an investigation? No. Because the minute the UNC realize what the PNM do, the UNC say, I will capitalize on this. So I will take this building and give out. If you talk to the owner, Michael Nahus, who is Faris' brother-in-law, talk to Michael, he'll tell you. Because what the UNC did with that building after they realized this, whatever it is Faris and the PNM did, they just made it worse. They just said, okay, I am going to give a massive outfit contract for this building to a man who provided them with a computer, 4 phones, and a desk. And is suing the government now, like E-Beam under Anil Roberts with Live Sport. Remember that? E-Beam, Adolphus Daniel, got 2 payments of $17 million. A man dead like a dog in this country in a hospital. That is itself, I'm calling everybody. When you go to the hospital, take pictures. Send it to me. I was going today, I ended up busy. I was going today And I was going to the hospital today, and I end up busy. Send it to me. But a man dead like a dog today. Because we don't have money to properly run a hospital. $6.25 billion, $17 million a day is just not enough money to properly outfit staff, take care, maintain the hospital. $17 million a day is just enough to pad the Goodwood Park families that making all the money, supplying all the drugs to the hospital at 500 and 600 times the prices, drugs that they never see. And before they answer me, call for a public inquiry into the operation of the health sector. You want to see how much people get killed? Call for a public commission of inquiry. You will see assassination from the top down because everybody will be playing shut that one up. So you need to go and bring foreign people and insulate them from this society and just call people to give testimony. You are the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health. Let's start there. A budgetary allocation was made to you. And I don't want to stay stuck here. But these are the issues. When you elect a government to power, and I want to tell you something. If by chance, because they're telling me, people coming on my wall, a fellow called Neville Cowlesser Jr., he come on my wall today. He said, Phil, you're going to split votes and leave PNM there forever. I said, no, pal. We're going to create a bridge and an opportunity for the PNM voters and the UNC voters and everybody who's been stuck playing any, mini, miny, mo to have a real choice. And I want to tell him, people like him, who have no concept of how change really works, that they're telling me, do a coalition, join up with somebody. Kamala not strong enough. Kamala not strong enough. Because if Kamala make 5 years surrounded by thieves, and now she in opposition, and the same thieves there, she not strong. She's nobody leader. She's a placeholder. And the only reason, God is my witness, the only reason the people in the United National Congress have Kamala there still is because they don't trust Rudal and they don't like Vasan Bharat. Vasan Bharat comes across as snobbish and to a party that represents the vast majority of poor people. They say he have no clue what's going on the ground. And look at the party he assembled. Him, Stephen Cadiz, Gavin Nicholas, Stacey Rupnarayan. This is what he trying to bring in. They don't trust Rudal Munilal faster than they can pick him up and throw him even after the surgery that get him slim. They don't trust him. So Kamala had to stay there. So that is what is keeping the PNM in office. That's what keeping the PNM in office. But if you get, and she not strong enough for me to do a coalition with, but if you put the Progressive Empowerment Party in power, I want to tell you something. We will audit the health sector. We will do a commission of inquiry into everything. We will stop the clock today. The clock stopped. Going forward, we want a stock check and an audit of everything. Because the stopped clock, we do an inquiry going backwards. Let's find out all of those who overpriced and overcharged and never supplied and was billed and invoiced 4 and 5 times for things they never did. Let's get the names of the doctors who went to work on double clock and triple clock. Yeah, let's get them. Let's get them because we want to prosecute them. I want to be the prime minister that prosecutes errant attorneys. Those who use that law degree to go and obfuscate reality and use the court as a bully and a thug. That's what goes on in this country. You know? There is no real authority anywhere for you to go and report wrongdoing. For you to try it and do it is to risk your life. Political victimization. I am about the most independent person you could meet. And the political victimization weighs on me like a mountain. Like a mountain. There are opportunities that I hold in my hand and I just let them pass. I say, you know what? It don't make sense. Because at some point, along the chain, I have to deal with a government organization and whoever is the person I sit in front, going to call because I've been involved in those two parties and I know how they work. The swinging dicks that sit at the desk report to somebody. Most of the ministers in the UNC, most of them, Not the old guard like Gopi Singh and them was running their own show. But most of the ministers, even fellas like Gary Griffith, who was the Minister of National Security, very, very good, but they had no power, you know. They couldn't spend a cent if Rudal did not prove it. That's what was going on in the UNC. That's what was going on in the UNC. Most of those ministers, they just take a walk. They're going on the PNM too. It going on. You think Daryl Smith, Shamfa Cudjoe, even Fitzgerald Hines have authority? You think they have any power? You think you go and talk to them, they can do anything? This is not real government. It does not run like a real country. And I'm saying all of these things because I want you to understand. I have zero interest in any accommodation with any weak parties. Because if you want to do a coalition with us, they have two things, non-negotiable. One, we take lead. And two, we're going after the criminals from the top down. We're going to eviscerate the gangs. We're going to scorch the earth. I promise you that. The violence will be done. When you go countries like Norway and Finland and Sweden, their jails empty. Because the people know two things. One, the social services works, and two, the national security works better. So don't play the fool. When a plane is about to land, when it enters Singapore airspace, this is not a lie. When a plane enters Singapore airspace, they are duty bound to tell everybody, if you possess a stick of marijuana, if you possess a drug that you do not have a prescription for, it could be legal in your country. If you possess it and it's on your person, the flight attendants are passing with a bag. No questions asked, put it in the bag. Because if you step on Singapore soil and they catch you, they will hang you. Yeah? So nobody don't use drugs in Singapore. Now, people tell you can't fight a war on drugs, and I don't even want to have that conversation. I'm just telling you that in this nation, the law is not properly enforced because the people who benefit from criminality do not want the law enforced, and they own the system. They own the system. The only way for you to change it, and forget me, but find somebody who is independent and separate from the system, who has the testicular fortitude to stand up to those two bandit parties and their political investor class and say, no, you are going to answer. We need anti-racketeering. In the States, there's something called the RICO Act. And the RICO Act, what Faris come and tell you he want to go after people for the gold chain. Faris, we need a RICO Act to go after people like you, who get millions of dollars for empty buildings. You all need to answer Faris Al-Rawi, Mr. Attorney General. We need statutes that allow us to go after everybody. Not just the little gold chain man, oh God. I can't believe that come out your mouth. It was like when Doma said, I remember this guy from Doma, Aboud. And from that day I realized this man is a jackass. What's his name? It's not Gary, it's Gregory Aboud. I remember I said Gregory Aboud is a jackass. Sorry for using that word. Because he compared an economy. He's talking to the public of Trinidad and Tobago, you know. And he compared an economy, and this is what he said. You have a 500 Mercedes-Benz, but it have no gas in it. Or some stupidness, it have no tires, or some nonsense. That was his analogy, and I realized these people like Marie Antoinette, they're disconnected. They're disconnected from the realities that everybody else faces. They don't understand. Plenty people, I'm listening, don't understand that guy who rolled around and died, we only know because there was a video. You think he's the only one? You think people are dead inside that hospital waiting for somebody to pass and just check them? Just say, hey, first do no harm. That is the Hippocratic oath. First do no harm. We have doctors in this country should face the gallows. And I'm not joking when I tell you that. Pauperize poor people. Went at them. There are dentists in this country who give everybody who come in his office a root canal, whether they needed it or not. A man come to deliver mail and they put a root canal. And I'm making a joke, but I'm trying to get you to understand. We have had professionals, we have professionals in this country that are demons in disguise. And you know why? Because they could get away with it. Any way that you could get away with it, you will try it. anywhere that you can get away with it. This is a country where they get away with it because the politicians are demons in disguise. The Education Facilities Company Limited just voided a legal, legitimate tender and gave the contracts to another man. Free sheet. Look, state money. Take that. That is a jailable offense. The head of the army, the chief of defense staff, just signed a document that was pure fiction and swore it that it was fact. That is a jailable offense. What Kenrick Maraj is exposing that took place in that army right now over the same Faris Alrawi, jailable offense. It's a whole new crime. This don't even have it. I mean, it will refer to Faris and the children and the guns, but it's a whole new crime. I'm a partner, Gary, I'm vexed with Gary. I don't even want to talk to him right now. I'm vexed. Last week, Saturday, in my Progressive Empowerment Party meeting, I ended up arguing for a half hour defending my partner Gary and his integrity. To hear that people telling me I want Gary to prove all of them wrong, publicly, before you talk to me, publicly, because brother, I vex. I can't believe you're defending the nonsense of Faris Alrawi and them children and the guns. I can't believe that. But I don't know. Gary was my last hope that there's anything salvageable from those parties. Last weekend, the former deputy political leader of the Congress of the People called me because her friend having trouble, cancer, hospital, no door, no bed sheet. I posted on Facebook, you saw that. She had called her political leader, she had called her former political leader who is in government, well, he's not in government, but in the parliament now. Because she know that she will get action from Philip Alexander. She know that. People know. Now, call Philip first. People from Dorrington Gardens sending me their flood story. They have a local government and they have a central government. Both of them could take responsibility for that. But they dare not call either. Why? Because they'll get no action. None. None. Whatsoever. I called political leaders of political parties to say, how are you not standing against what the head of the Police Complaints Authority did? He broke the law. He misbehaved in public office. Why is he not being investigated for that? This is not a real country. What is going on is you're supposed to align yourself with a side and fix yourself. Like what Justin Phelps do today, that nonsense he put out, and I rip it apart and I read his thing and my response just now. That's Keith Rowley's member for life. I want Justin to write why they didn't pick him for Diego Martin Central. I want him to write why they didn't put him in the Senate when there was opposition. Write that, Justin Phelps, because I know. You write it down. Let people see. Tell people why when he trot you on the stage and raise your hand, say, "This is my best." How Stuart Young end up slipping in your space? How? How Daryl Smith end up in Diego Martin Central? How? Both of these parties, both corrupt, nasty, broken institutions. What you have to do to become politically active is line up and choose a side. So let's say I say, well, I have a kind of nice caramel coloring and my hair straight, I'll line up with the UNC and see if Indian people will vote for me. Or if it's that kind of time when you think that black people will vote for you because of the caramel complexion, oh God, he choose we. Because this kind of bullshit is the kind of nonsense you just have to deal with in politics in Trinidad and Tobago. That's why I said, if they turn out tomorrow, not big, I done. I fail. Corn beef man, I will write it for you. You don't have to follow me around Grand Bazaar. I fail. Rhoda Barrett, you don't have to screw up that face. Leave it so bad enough as it is. I say it. If the crowd tomorrow outside the parliament not big, I fail. I done. Trinidad don't want me or I don't want this, and I done. And all the people who say, slow it down, take your time, no friend. No friend. Don't wait for people to dead and 15 more lawsuits and all kind of defamation to take place. Because they try to destroy me. When the PNM open them gates because they say, oh God, look, you form a party. And they know I'm not lining up with either. Ask Rowley who he asked before Phelps, before Daryl Smith, to go in Diego Martin Central. Ask Rowley. Ask Rudal who he asked to go in Diego Martin West. Ask him. You're supposed to pick a side and line up. No, this is stage one. Let the race wars begin. So the two of them, PNM and the UNC, go at each other like two jackass clans, fighting race. We black, we Indian, we want more power, and that happening. But on top of them, pulling the strings, is the political investor class. That whether black win or Indian win, PNM win or UNC win, they win. They don't stop winning. Either the PNM or the UNC doesn't make a difference. It's not small contracts like Emil Elias and SIS. Them is jokers. The real big contracts. You don't call these people's names. You don't call their names. These backroom boys. Them feeding. Ask the financial controller of Clico, the first 2 years after the bailout, how many hundreds of millions of dollars left Clico as ghost accounts. People was just cashing checks for accounts that didn't exist. Didn't exist nowhere. And they cash hundreds of millions of dollars. And taxpayer money come and fill that hole because of the treasury. And the treasury there. So you could pelt out money. Yeah? Last time I wanted to invite Kurt Allen. Won't you listen to this song?
I wanna fly, change, fly up to the sky. UNC change up, things rearrange up. This is since they get rid of past. Let the past be the past. UNC brand new.
After this we'll continue. We reached the financial class.
This is since the humble
We'll continue.
rubbish. The party have no more rubbish. But when I look around, what do I see? Recycled politicians. I see kangaroos like Assam and Ram Logan, hopping from bandwagon to wagon. So they polish and shine, then fall back in line. But that cannot thief my mind. Jump high, jump low, whether sun or rain. I am falling for that again. It's the same faces, new administration, same faces, now in new position, same faces, with a brand new chief, UNC, the same bunch of stamping
Listen.
When the airport billions disappear, remember, Rudlal was right there. When the English bank account didn't declare, remember, Warner was right there. But they changed their pants and they changed their skirt. They changed their blouse and they changed their shirt. They even changed the style of their hair, but they had changed their stinking underwear. Change.
When you line up and vote, that's the UNC coming to do the PNM now. When you line up and vote between this, the investor class laughing, 5 million PNM.
Sounding triumphant with Rowley on the platform. Everybody acting like numb. PNM ready. They say the ship's steady. No confidence, motion aside. The body say have nothing to hide. But when I look around, what do I see? Yes, men, politicians. I see the good, the bad, and the ugly going back for re-election. So they swear it's the truth and investment in youth. That is what we are told. But now I'm wondering, Paul, is it people who easier to control?
When the court cleared Karen Nunes Teixeira for what was ostensibly nothing more than insider trading,
It's the same faces who support the Rowley plot. Same faces who supported you the cut. Same faces still in disbelief. Look around, the same bunch of stamping teams. When Dr. Rowley was tossed in the air, remember, Imbert was right there. When Calda was balancing in full glare, remember, Conrad was right there. But change the shoe. They even change makeup artists too. They put on perfume smelling like a rose, but they had changed their stinking underclothes.
So check what's going on with the Congress and the people right now. They have a UNC financer and a PNM financer that organizing some names from both parties and putting them inside the COP, and they're trying to make
The world going green. We want to ask you this for a while. Is it true or false? Warner has a file. Father Manning, come good, or you get in wood. Look, we do not want to encroach. Is it true or false? You're building a church.
$55 million was spent on the Dwen Cathedral in, what's the name of the place? I forget. But that is just taxpayers' money, and forget that, because they have more end.
Because when I look around, what do I see? Cunning politicians. I see men who would sacrifice their own people to advance their own ambition.
$2.1 million this country paid for a flag, even now, 17 years later, is obscene. $2.1 million for a flag that was bought from a company that just came into dispute again for lowering the flag to celebrate their leader. But anyway, come back to this. $2.1 million. When the Minister of Sport of that government, what it is about the Ministry of Sport and these jokers, when the Minister of Sport, who ordered the $2.1 million flag that used to fly across from Movitown, remember that? Fly for 6 months, $2.1 million. Throw it away. It's the Treasury. They have more. When they had hold him, he said, we don't understand the price of national pride, and he ordering 17 more. Thank God for two things. Anya Ayongchi porn video, which saved him, because the internet was new and it bumped him out the news. So he blessed God that Anya do that threesome. But also we had an election, which saved us having to buy 17 more Gary Hunt flags. And he was never, ever investigated by the police to find out how you spend $2.1 million for a flag.
So we caught up in hype while ignoring the type of leaders we choose to promote. Men who will put on coat, rush to take oath, then turn around and bust with throat. Same faces, smiling for the camera. Same faces, only talking tata. Same faces, there is no relief. Look around, the same bunch as gambling tips. When Ish and Fergie had money to share.
Listen.
Remember, Kamla was right there. When Montel was financing without fear.
Well, you know who Montel is he talking about? Like the same man who just get his Soca Cruise money. But that was Home Mortgage Bank, remember that?
Remember, Manning was right there. So they changed the bra and they changed the tie. They changed the truth and turned it to lie. They have outfits, don't change for the court, but they had changed their stinking jockey shots. Change. I wanna
Trying to get Kurt Allen, the author, the singer, the writer of that song on the phone. I tried to interview him a month now. He fell along a mountain last night.
Hello, good night.
Kurt Allen.
How are you, Mr. Alexander? How are you?
The last version of Calypso, you are live on my social media live video show, and I just played Change for the people.
Oh, all right. All right, good,
How-
good, good.
how is the-
Well, it's nice to be live. It's nice to be live and nice to get program.
How is the
It's quite
recovery?
a surprise, but you know, it's nice.
How is the recovery going? I hear you fall along a mountain.
Yeah, the tagline is "I want to fly." So I actually thought I think I wanted to fly, and but all is well, man. Just minor, nothing to worry about, and recovery is there. No broken bones, or no fracture, nothing like that. Just.
Kurt, as one of the last remaining strong voices in Calypso, and you don't hold back, because this year you sing somebody, what is the name of the song?
My Country.
My
The name of the song
Country.
is My Country.
My Country. You don't hold back, and just hit left side, right side, red crapo, yellow crapo, same handful of salt. How does it feel to be you in an industry that is so politicized right now?
Well, I mean, it's nothing new enough, Philip. It's nothing new. In terms of when you look at the history of Calypso and you look at the society, the Calypsonian from time to time has always been outspoken. That has been the foundation on which I stand on, in terms of the great heroes of the art form that came before. That is what I learned in terms of the Calypsonian represents the voice of the people, and your duty is not to be biased or choose a particular side, whether it's political or non-political. A Calypsonian is supposed to be objective enough to deliver the messages to the people, in a way that is not offensive, but in a way that doesn't cater for people who take offense to what he says either,
Have you ever experienced political victimization because of stances you might have taken with your songs?
Political victimization. I cannot say directly that I have experienced political victimization directly.
Have you seen your peers benefit from things that you didn't benefit from, maybe?
My peers?
Peers, people, other Calypsonians.
Yes, that's the name of the game. Sometimes, whether you're a teacher or a doctor in any profession, your peers, you see that some of your peers getting promotion when you feel that you should be one getting promotion. And that has to do with in terms of people and their own character and the way they treat with issues and how they determine who gets promotion, who is discriminated against. So yes, in that case, everybody sometimes feel that they are being discriminated against or they're being victimized for a particular stand. I would be hypocrite to say that I've never felt that way, but to pinpoint and say, well, okay, it's because of this, what I sang against this person, they're doing this. I honestly can't say I cannot say I've experienced that directly.
How long you in social commentary Calypso? How long you in the forefront of Calypso now?
The first song that I ever sang was a social commentary back in 1983. But in terms of when I started to be competitive, 1992, that's when I won my first major title, the Junior Young King, and then 93 I won my Young King, and then 94 I was in the Calypso Monarch finals for the first time. So
25?
That is where I will say I started.
25 years?
Well, this year actually, it's 25 years in that context, but this year I'm actually celebrating 36 years as a Calypsonian.
Wow. Have you seen things change for the better or for the worse in those years?
Nothing really, as the song said, as one of my songs, The Change. Nothing really changes at all, or even as David Oda said, the more things change, the more they remain the same. In terms of changes, if I look within my community, I may not, I want to look at the entire Trinidad and Tobago because, I've been everywhere to see developments. I can only speak for my particular community. I haven't seen much changes there, so that and when I say much changes, you see in buildings, housing development. I'm not seeing people development. You're seeing people or the families, I should say, that were poor 20 years ago are still going through the same struggles. So I'm not seeing anything on the ground where the people that I live amongst.
But you see, in my communities, I see people go from millionaire to 100 millionaire. I understand we have a couple billionaires now.
Well, you're lucky.
How is that? That don't help me.
In my community, that is not clearly visible unless, as I said, in terms of the new housing areas, where you have those type of people, the millionaires and the billionaires coming in, but they are not of, to say that they were born in the community and socialized in the community and stuff like that.
So, as somebody...
I'm not seeing those people really, I'm seeing them every day, so I'm interacting with them, so I know what I'm seeing in that aspect,
But I know that you bleed red, white, and black, and that the culture, and especially Calypso art form, near and dear to your heart, you and your daughter, your wife, your whole family, all through the year, you're trying to build back out the culture. Are you hopeful? Yes. Are you hopeful for Trinidad, and are you hopeful for Calypso?
You see, I understand what you mean by hopeful and stuff, but the way I'm wired, I don't really deal with the hope. I deal with what's practical and what comes before in front of you, and I believe in working towards or working hard to achieve what you have to achieve. So the idea of hope, I understand in the context, but I believe that if we continue on the path, if the artist, the creative industry is not seen and recognized as the billion-dollar industry that it is, and when we talk about diversification of the economy, and you're not looking to create a creative industry, because I don't think that we really have a creative industry. And I think that that's one of will want to see a creative industry, and then we can start talking about all the other things that could come out of that. But right now, you know, is everybody doing what they want to do? We focus on entertainment. There's a difference between art and entertainment. There's a difference between an entertainer and an artist.
Absolutely.
And we focus on entertainment and not necessarily the arts. For example, entertainment deals with popular culture. You know, what's happening is hip in the United States, the slangs, the dress codes, that's popular culture. And that's what entertainment focuses. I focus on the art part of it, which is trying to make your culture popular, which is a total different thing. One is following popular culture, and one is trying to make your culture popular. And I think that the people who are working towards making the culture popular, those are the artists, and I don't think that they are really being recognized and given just due. You know, in terms of opportunities and you know, infrastructure and access to resources to further and develop their craft. I'm not seeing that, but I'm seeing a lot of entertainment. Every day entertainment.
But Kurt, in a nation of $60 billion budgets, wouldn't you expect that in a real country with so much that we claim, that we invent, the land of steel band, calypso, and limbo, you wouldn't think that in a country that claimed that we invent all these things with $60 billion budgets, that they would have something like a vision for culture and that they would be funding to help the art forms?
Yes, no argument with that. You know, one would think that we shouldn't even be having a discussion on that. Particularly, as you mentioned, we are the creators of the steel pan, which is a science in itself. It's not just an instrument, you know, that's a science. There's a certain science involved in creating the steel pan. And if we dwell on the steel pan, but we don't look at the science and the people who created it as scientists, you know, because there is a science. You can't just pick up somebody can't just decide to watch a drum and decide to pick it up a song with a big instrument. So we ignore the science behind it, which is the real thing, and we focus on the instrument, which is fine, no problem with that. The same thing, the calypso, what calypso has represented to the world and still represents. And when I speak of calypso, I also speak of soca and all the different offshoots. And you know, we talk about it with pride, but our artists are dying in poverty. And the ones who are on the stage now, making it big and looking like the things going, you don't know what's going to happen 20 years down the road when the economy change, when circumstances change. You know, because there's no creative industry, so then there's nothing in place really to foster growth in a sector that is not a sector.
Would you say that government after government have been remiss in respecting the culture? That's the last question I'm asking you. I know you're not political, and you're not a political.
There's no point of being political. The government is there that represents the people, the will of the people, right? And you have certain expectations that we have of the government, that we expect of the government. I, again, like to be practical. When you look at the different budgets year after year, and you look at the allocations towards the arts or culture and entertainment and those things, it has never really shifted from where it is. It has remained a particular way. So my expectation really doesn't, I don't really expect them to change that within the next 10 years, next 15 years. I think it's a policy. When you look not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but all over the Caribbean, there seems to be a cultural policy where the arts don't really receive what they should receive, in particular the cultural and the indigenous aspects of the arts. So my expectation has always been, I look at the government as a nice stove with nice burner and oven, but I also believe in the fireside method. I believe that the people need to light the fireside. Cut some wood and boil the water. You don't always sit and wait for the nice stove that the government has to provide, and if you don't get a nice pot and silverware, you ain't want to cook. No. The people need to understand, okay, you want food to eat, you want hot tea, and you're not getting it from the stove. What are you going to do? Just sit down and complain?
Good.
Get up and cut some wood, and let's light a fire. Let the people, it must come from the people.
Good.
Because if the government represents the people need to show where the power really lies and light some fire.
How bad are your injuries? You're mobile, you can come online with us tomorrow outside the parliament at 1 o'clock.
No, that'll be...
Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Brother, thanks a lot for having you. As soon as we have a studio, because we're trying very hard, as soon as we have a studio, I'm going to want to do a live interview with you, yes?
No problem, man. I am up for that.
Stay strong, my brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot, man. Nice being on the forum, man. Nice being on your forum.
Take care, my brother. Bye.
Okay, you take care.
I was the last badger of Calypso, Kurt Allen. Talent to spare. Listen to this. The man an orchestrated Calypso. Listen to the turn of phrase. Call a political symphony. Listen to the music, the arrangement, the turn of phrase, and this song. Kurt Allen.
I visited Parliament Chamber.
Political commentary.
Listen orchestra. A bang, bang, bang. Of only politicians.
Listen.
Well, rated their performance on style, talent and endurance. A bang, bang, bang. Of parliamentarians. Politics that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate. Preachers replaced by gates. Nurturing racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism, Ahmadism from the UNC and the PNM, COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony.
Calypso.
GOP, MSJ and JC and the political symphony. It's a symphony. Stop taking it cool. Don't be played for fool. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule. Justifiable. The race can they always pull.
Talent extraordinaire. The man, the musical arrangement by itself, par excellence, the musical arrangement by itself, but the turn of phrase and to fit it into that music and to use it so tongue-in-cheek and to deliver a message. The man is a genius. Kurt Allen, the last badger on a Calypso. And if you listen to his style of Calypso, you see global talent, talent on a global level, but we have it stifled. You know how many good, talented people we have in this country? Nigel Ferrer and his band, they play rock music, they write their own music. Kes, all you know Kes, because Kes just cut off his hair, and Kes famous for Calypso and soca, but Kes was Limestone, I think that's the name of the band, Limestone, and ask him to sing that for you, an alternative band, and we stifle it. If it's not soca, it's dead. I know. I don't want to go down that road. Let's come back. Because I bring Kurt in because Kurt wrote that song Change. And he is archiving the political barbarian taking place as this country as it goes. 25 years I know of. He said 36. I see Alicia Hart wrote earlier that she wanted her kids to listen to the show last time, but she didn't like the fact that they had some obscene language and stuff. And I want to apologize, but I don't know if that is more upsetting than the guy dying in the grass and the doctors and the hospital and all that nonsense. And I am a human being. At the end of the day, some things are really upset about that guy. And tomorrow, because I am the kind of person who will start the movement to occupy the promenade. I am that kind of guy. We have to take this country back. We have to decide. And tomorrow is the decision making for me. Because there is no more one-man shows. I am incredibly talented and I know, but I can use that talent for a lot of other things. I was supposed to go and sing a Calypso with Kurt in his tent, write a Calypso. That's on my bucket list. And he's going to arrange it and things for me. I like all of that kind of thing. I have books to publish. I keep telling people this parliament, politics, government thing, this is not my first love, not even my 10th love. I prefer to cook, paint, write. I'm an artist. This is not me. All of this. I have zero interest in politics as a career. All of this that I am doing is an intervention as a citizen, civic-minded on behalf of my country. I come from parents. My mother tonight harassing me to ask the people on my wall for clothes for babies because she's take care of all the poor people who have children who can't afford clothes. It's called my mother. So there are a bunch of people on my thread, and you know yourselves that gather clothes and organize clothes with her, Tara Dial from Jericho Project. Tara single-handedly mining the whole North Coast through Jericho Project right now. I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff. But I come from parents that my father sat on the Hall of Justice steps to protest alongside Lincoln Myers when Lincoln Myers, which was the precursor to the NAR, went and sat on the Hall of Justice steps and fasted for 40 days. Not Wayne Kublal Singh. Wayne Kublal Singh didn't invent that. Wayne is doing what he walked in a street that Lincoln Myers cut, and I never heard anybody acknowledge it. My father went and sit there with Lincoln Myers and protest as a little boy. I see that. That's where I come from. That's why I do this. But we need to decide as a people. Because when these little punks talk about threatening my life and things, they don't understand me. I believe in civil service. I believe in people standing for country. I believe that we all should bloom where we planted. I believe to whom much is given, much is expected. I have no problem with all of that. But if tomorrow at 1 o'clock I am the last clown standing, no problem. I will be a footnote in history, and I'll be cool with that. There are a lot of people, a lot of friends, and a lot of family want me out of politics bad, you know. They want to go back to Lyman and having time with Philip. I'll take an hour to prepare for the show, an hour to do the show, and an hour and a half after the show, finishing it up and making sure nobody in. After watch the whole show, after to delete all the sycophantic comments or any violent or comments that not in keeping with what we stand for. But I also stand for the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I say this to people all the time. We practically have a manifesto written for us already. Everything that's in that document is what we stand for. Here, every creed and race finds an equal place. We want to make sure that that stands. We want to make sure that everybody gets the benefit of being a citizen of the Great Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Not the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. But that's what we are now. Because up on top, and I was telling you before about Kurt, up on top of the we black and we Indian, let's go to war nonsense to distract you, using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and fool. Hear him say it, eh? Hear him say it again. That
Stop taking it cool. Don't be playing for fool. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule.
they use race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule. When poor black people were given a saying, we read and ready, it was the same as when the Indian people was given, we will rise. It's nothing. Somebody make a couple $100,000 or a couple $1 million. So I know Ernie Ross get paid for my we will rise, but we'll do that another time. Read and ready, we will rise. Same vacuous foolishness. It means nothing. It translates to nothing on the ground. It doesn't mean that we will go into the poor, dispossessed, broken communities that are providing the human resource to the gang violence that's making the country unlivable, ungovernable. It doesn't mean that we're going into there and rescue and lift and rise and everybody, because that's what we will rise was supposed to be. It doesn't mean that. What it means is we read and ready half the ship, or we will rise the other half of the ship. So the country will never sail smooth. A half of this country always sink in. And while all that foolishness going on, and the people on the ground, when you hear the Indian people cussing the black people and the black people cussing the Indian people, fighting for bragging rights on land they will never own. For foolishness, for nonsense, nothing in your hand, nothing of substance, when people above making off with the billions of dollars. Of the $60 billion budgets that we've had for the past 10 years, half at least are wasted money. We have private companies owned by government. We have special purpose companies. We have state boards that function for nobody. We have companies that are funded that don't deliver, that we know they're defunct, but we're still funding them. I keep raising the issue of the National Insurance Board and their disco financing. The fact that this country has not rioted, as Colm Imbert said, If this country didn't riot for Mr. Philip, who died in the hospital like a dog, he died like a dog, the only thing that could have been more inhumane is if something had come and eat him. As if they had leave him there to swell up and let maggots and cockroach eat his eyes. Because that was a despicable law, and the fact that the country didn't riot for that means that maybe they've succeeded in breaking your minds. They've not broken mine. Not broken mine at all. I know what a citizen of a country, a democracy, and a republic is entitled to. I know that a republic is a nation ruled by law. I know that the supreme law is the Constitution. 1 and 1 make 2. No matter how fancy-footed your lawyer is, 1 and 1, still gonna make 2. Still gonna make 2. So, listen to that. I honestly, I want to share something with you today. Now, that I got today. So, and it may come across like a defending the UNC a little bit in this, but I'm not. And you know, from what I just said, that I really not. But this is a PNM member for life. Keith Rowley called him a member for life. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's an award, a prize. I don't know if he put $1 million in the party. I don't know if it's just a bromance. I don't know. Justin Phelps, PNM member for life, as Keith Rowley referred to him, wrote this today. He wrote this. If you're going to listen to me read the first part, you have to listen to me read the second part, because the second part that I'm going to read is when I tear it to shreds and expose him for the political sycophant that he is. So listen to the first part. The election petitions, the property tax, and the judicial appointment cases have all failed. They were all supported by the leader of the opposition. They each, wrongly as it has turned out, subjected the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive to uncertainty and openly questioned the legitimacy of those arms of democratic government. There are no other institutions to attack. Each left the country in limbo on important functions of the state, causing delay, impeding progress, and inflicting financial losses. This is democracy under attack. As far as Archie is concerned, the picture that is beginning to emerge is that he was a victim of this campaign. Mrs. Prasad Bisessan, the MSJ, should have the, I don't know why it's the MSJ and not the UNC, but whatever, should have the humility and the grace to withdraw their baseless positions on the judiciary. The state should use the law available to them to have these litigants deemed vexatious. This is a man that follows Keith Rowley and make it requirement that they get leave before being permitted to file an action. You hear that? That is dictatorship. Do not allow them to use the courts, but wait. Otherwise, the ability to get interim, short-term, short-lasting orders and to advertise those as legal victories will continue to be used to mislead, abuse, and obstruct. You read that, and if you are disconnected from the reality in Trinidad and Tobago, you might say, wow, this is madness. How is that allowed? How is it allowed indeed? But I sent this to the entire media, the cabinet, the opposition, and everybody. I said, here's and this. Yesterday, and you all will remember this, yesterday for a brief minute, I agreed with Justin Phelps. Today he goes back into full PNM, fool the people mode, and I need to withdraw that brief support. Attacking the opposition for using the nation's courts to seek redress against perceived wrongs, he openly politicizes what he condemned only yesterday, as he attempts to make fools of everyone reading and sharing his nonsense. Not only that, he's an attorney. Father is an attorney. What they make money on? Stick a pen. First of all, predicating a position on a predetermined outcome after the fact is a lot like calling oneself savant because you read the answers at the back of the book. The opposition had every right and every reason, and I repeat, every right and every reason to approach the courts for relief against the madness done by the Elections and Boundaries Commission in the last general election. The courts themselves seemed confused as to what to do in circumstances where such an important arm of state, essential to the smooth operation of democracy, could act so far outside its remit as to corrupt the process they were charged with overseeing. But in the abundance of caution, the courts admonished the EBC while resisting going any further for reasons best left for future historians to decipher. Could our fledgling democracy have survived the reality that tribal partisan politics could have affected an election outcome through surreptitious means? Because there are many people in this country that still believe the PNM bribed the EBC or the EBC is PNM and they hijacked the election. An arbitrary extension that they never had the power to offer. Erring on the side of caution still seems prudent, even if they allowed wrongdoing to prosper. The greater good had to be kept in mind and order preserved. I understand that. On his second point, the property tax, that matter is far from over. And while the political parties seem to have gone full hog dividing up the judgments along political lines, his poem, paragraph, essay tries to force... Just give me 1 second. His poem, paragraph, essay tries to force reality to fit PNM facts and dress them up in legalese. Again, the opposition had every right to challenge the illegality of the government's attempt to overthrow lawfulness when they claimed sanctions and penalties that never existed. Colm Imbut should have been fired for that, for lying to the people, for causing people undue stress and worry. Needless talk about vexatious. Colm Imbut should have been in jail for that. And while the injunction has been overturned, the substantial case is yet to be heard, and until then, comments like his only serve to distract the public from the real issue. That is, should the government have a right to tax your property twice after getting its share up front through a hefty stamp duty that you pay when you buy a property? The third and final issue in his opening paragraph is silly in and of itself, because it overlooks the facts that the errors of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission and the Chief Justice were self-inflicted injuries. No one outside of that bunch were involved in the conspiracy that made a royal mess of the elevation of the Chief Magistrate to a judge without due diligence. And the composition of the JLSC at present seems to beg that everyone step back from making a bigger mess and deal with the issues at the top. Stop the appointments. Stop it. Now, I am hardly the person to defend the opposition, and they should have their own people for that. But what was and is vexatious to me is the strong language he used to belittle the use of the lawful means of redress, while remaining silent, while his own political leader stormed the ramparts of the nation's parliament and defiled it with the foolishness of the Emailgate made-up scandal that appeared designed to use parliamentary privilege to overthrow a democratically elected government. If Phelps wants to be taken seriously or to appear credible, he needs to ensure that his lambastings are balanced on facts and not just more theatre for the cheap seats by wannabe politicians with a law degree. Stuart Young's being beaten into submission and Faris Al-Rawi's tired bleatings may have signaled to other PNM junior attorneys that there may be opening soon for political spokespersons, and all of this may be his auditioning for the post. Whatever. For the civic-minded people tempted to be misled by such thinly disguised political rhetoric masquerading as sage advice, I would be remiss in my responsibility if I did not tear it apart and expose it for what it is. This country faces its worst crisis ever, as the plum offices are fought over with furor, while the political financier investor class takes advantage of the noise and the fury to make off with more of the nation's treasure. My best advice is for us to find a way to make both of these parties irrelevant. This nation is desperately in need of a healing and of leadership less self-serving and agenda-driven by what is being offered by both those racist, corrupt institutions. But back on point. The Chief Justice's failure is due to his own unforced errors, and he should do the right and honorable thing and resign. Having loudmouths pretend that any of this has anything to do with politics is to engage in misdirection to distract from that reality. The property tax needs to be stayed and a conversation had as to what the state is entitled to by way of taxation on private properties and to what use those monies will be put. To make that squabble political is to again attempt to distract and befuddle the onlooking population for deviant purposes. With regards to the JLSC, the loss of confidence by the law fraternity should be sufficient to encourage them to all do the reasonable thing and step away to allow for the administration of justice to be put right and systems put in place to prevent all that took place during this fiasco from happening again. Anywhere else, these issues would have been already decided through convention and personal integrity or by the enforcing of systems or laws designed to protect the state and the people. Not here though. Here we rely on misdirection, deflection, and noise. Don't be distracted. Plenty noisemakers outside there. A university lecturer who shouldn't.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock we outside.
Vote can protect our
If you want to call, 682-2110, let's take some calls.
before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, well, we are not out. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be only full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change come about.
Hello, good evening. You're live. Hello, good evening. You're live.
Hi, Philip. This is Prue. I'm calling from Michigan again.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. I'm a little stressed, a lot stressed actually. I listened to last night's program and I'm listening to tonight's program as well. And I tried to call in, but I really didn't think I should have because I was literally in my office crying, thinking about what's going on in my country as well as what's going on here. It's quite, it feels terrible, for want of a better word.
Yes, this is a lot. It's a lot to have to deal with.
Yeah, and then, you know, my 9-year-old, she's in love with you. For one, she is in love with you. She loves listening to your program, obscene language and all, because she says, you know what, it's in the moment, you are human.
Yeah, but
she was almost expecting it.
Nah,
and she found it very sad to know this happened.
No, but I'm going to do better where that is concerned. And you're not the only parent telling me that. A woman told me today that my voice puts her child to sleep, and I'm wondering, we make so much noise on this video. How is this putting your child to sleep? But anyway, well, thanks a lot for calling, though. I hope you're supporting tomorrow from Michigan. I mean, you know, we're outside the Parliament at 1 o'clock. We'll be coming live, and I hope you're there to view what we're doing tomorrow, yeah?
Oh, most definitely. I have my Trinidad t-shirt already ironed and prepped to wear to work tomorrow. I don't care. I am wearing it.
Thanks a lot, darling. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, let's give somebody else a
You're
chance.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. You're live.
Philip Edward Alexander.
Yes, my friend.
Good night, sir. Kuba not in the house.
You ready for tomorrow?
Of course, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is when good men do nothing.
Good people.
Edmund Burke.
Edmund Burke, but use good people because we have a lot of, let me tell you, our entire executive is women, so you must. So,
additionally, two more things. One, Jack Nicholson in the movie The Departed stated it at the beginning of the movie. That was his opening phrase. Would you rather to become a product of your environment, or would you rather your environment to become a product of you? That's the choice we have today,
Exactly.
my friend. And
Exactly.
Trinidad and Tobago needs to understand that. It's like you say, bring back the old Trinidad and Tobago. And one more thing, you ain't gonna like what I'm going to say now.
Don't say
But
that.
I'm glad your friend gave him Maggie. I'm glad your partner gave him Maggie. You know what I'm talking about. I don't talk.
Right.
I will see you tomorrow, sir.
See you tomorrow, my brother. Bye-bye.
All right.
If you want to call 682-2110, we're taking calls. We let it run because people tell me I make them cry last night. I was saying the show done and it's not that I want to done, but look at these hard-working people in this party. The level of sacrifice that they endure and risk to themselves for the political victimization just to build this party. I can't continue to lead them down a path if the rest of the nation, the people who need to support, build, vote, populate the party, have no interest. But there's a lot of nice people, and I will. Sorry.
A catastrophe. If they cannot go, and you see it so, then your only hope is for them to go. If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you vote
Voting. They'd like to call 682-2110.
let's make you want to shout. When you're voting, before they misuse out, T-Fox and loud and
Answering
things
texts and WhatsApp.
if it you vote them in, register and all of them, stick your finger and them and this is
Sharon Ramsuk asking what's a Maggie. This is a Maggie, it's from school days. But what he's saying is, anyway, it's about a certain politician. Put them out in Kamuto and La Romaine. Yes, the man predict Kamuto. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hi, good night, Philip. This is Andrew. I just want to let Trinidad know and the youth from the West know that we have to come out and support you because we're doing that for our future and for our children's future, you know, and we have to get change. We have to. This country is too wild. These politicians, they're doing craziness. So let's make a change. All right?
Thanks for that, my
Have a
brother.
good day.
See you tomorrow. To the people who saying that they would like to come, but they have stuff going on, a guy messaged me today to say he was in a terrible accident and he's on crutches, and he would like to know if there would be somewhere for him to sit. And I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago that he is people like him I do this for. Man on crutches. Come out at 1 o'clock. Add yourself to us.
If it is that injustice is what they always show when you're voting, vote them all. If it is that avarice is all they seem to know when you're voting, vote them all. If it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come, all bandits must go.
All.
Register and if they don't see,
This is our party song.
finger and
Vote them out.
show them no mercy. Put them out
Lima, I tell him I bring in a chef in.
and utter the state.
Utter this thing.
Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power to be laid their reign. Let's put our country together again.
Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hello, how are you going, Philip?
So far, so good. Sorry it took so long to answer. I don't know what the phone was trying to do.
That's no problem, man. Just let you know, coming down tomorrow at the Parliament, 1 p.m., coming to Carlola people. Spreading the word as best as I can, man. But again, and what I also wanted to say with the last Bajan in Calypso
lyrical content is what the man has.
Yeah,
is
man.
what we lack in our music, and is why our music is not being recognized on a global scale like how everybody would like it to be. It's simply because we keep singing the same crap every time, over and over and over for the last 40 years. So,
Indeed.
I mean, at the end of the day, not until we could get changes where, you know, music from Trinidad can evolve and could be accepted on an international scale. It's about lyrical content, man. But anyway, aside from that, tomorrow we on
Take
1
care.
p.m.
Thank you for that, my brother. See you there tomorrow.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, man. Well, the kind of calls and messages I get today about the show, and we can't stop the show, and even up to tonight, that we wasn't doing a show tonight, so the people who buffed me, I thought there was no show. We wasn't doing a show tonight, but the people insist, and the executive said, let's use the show tonight to remind people to come out tomorrow at 1 o'clock. This is your country, this is your party. What happens from here is up to you.
Reason why the economy goes sprout. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the ambassadors that them alone can flout. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the building ISOs, east, west, north and south. They say where you vote them in. Vote them out. Register and vote them out. Totally stick your finger and
In his first 6 months in office, Keith Rowley announced building all kind of crazy highway to Toku. When the people of Morva, Beetham, Laventille and Sealots looking to him, like that man last night who died on the side of the road by the hospital. The same, you could imagine what was going through that man's last thoughts as he died in his country, valueless, without dignity or respect as a citizen. And I see the Regional Health Authority and the Ministry of Health put out a release, and it upset me because it is long on excuses and short on apologies, and nobody's been fired and nobody's been held responsible. And it's not that hard to find out who is responsible. Send everybody on leave. Who was responsible for that? Stop playing with us. We have a march tomorrow, but we have a gathering tomorrow. We'll deal with that there.
a catastrophe.
I'm going to find out who was the person that put him out.
And you see it so, then your only hope is for them to go. If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout.
Fabrication.
When you're voting, vote them out.
Pure nonsense in the parliament. Drivel.
If it is that frustration, does make you want to shout. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. Before they misuse out, thief out, sell out and digs out. If it
Use out, thief out, sell out, and digs out. I want to do it.
register and vote them out. All of them, vote them out. Stick your finger and vote them out. Demolish the system, vote them out. Put them out in Scarborough and in Port of Spain. Let's put our country.
Good evening, your life.
Hello, Philip. I just want to say one thing. You see what went on with our man there yesterday? That is what broke the camel back for me as a citizen of this country. Because I look at that again like that could have been my father. It could have been me. And in my mind, I am saying, if Trinidadian, brother, bro, I so stand up with you. If we don't have their numbers tomorrow, I'm taking my whole family and we flying away. We will be leaving Trinidad. I'm telling you. Because it will be a totally lost cause. Because the population of this country would have already been totally, after 55 years, brainwashed beyond repair.
Indeed.
Because you see that what went on there yesterday, a man going, Anyway,
Yes.
Philip, tomorrow at 1. Trinidad and Tobago, tomorrow at 1. And if again all you do not come out realize we're losing our champion in this country.
We have an opportunity here. Let's use the opportunity.
Correct. I have to agree 110%. We have the opportunity. People, let us make this happen. Our time tomorrow at 1 p.m. Come down to the Parliament, please. Trinidad and Tobago. We don't care about what faction you want to stand by. Stand for Trinidad and Tobago, red, white, and black. That is what we're standing for, and that is who we are. We are Trinidadians. We are not any race or any religion. We are Trinidadians, each and every one of us. Nobody is Moses. As from Nani come, it ain't going to stop by Indian and part like it's Moses, right? It ain't going to stop by the Syrian and part like it's Moses. Everybody is at risk, and we need to be on the same page on this. I'm very emotional, and again, depending as well, Philip, if we don't have that turnout tomorrow, we're gonna
get a turnout. We're gonna get turnout because we gain the turnout tomorrow. Trinidadians realizing, put aside your lunch hour, put aside your time, put aside your plans, cancel your appointments, close the business. Tell your boss, my house, my nation on fire, and I need to go and rescue it.
That is right. Because people who are of a health institution, we're supposed to be there to save lives or to help the sick, the elderly. I mean, really, man, I can't be able to survive 65 years of my life in this world that we have. To come now to see that this is the benefit that I have to gain and look forward to as a senior citizen, man. No. I refuse as a Trinidadian, and I say it again, Philip, and Trinidad and Tobago, every great country on this world, as far as our first world country has had a civil war, and I'll go leave it there. Have a good night, Trinidad and Tobago. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m.
Finland, number one in the world for education, number one. They have 10-year schools. They have nothing like an SEA. We have 400 of our children on a suicide watch. You do not have a Ministry of Education yet that could understand the child abuse that the SEA represents. You do not have a Parent Teachers Association yet capable of understanding the child abuse that the SEA represents. We've put our parents and our children in a bind. Parents have no choice. They can't step out of the system, so they don't know what to do. The Progressive Empowerment Party will destroy the SEA. We will tear it up and throw it away. We will make sure that all schools are 10-year schools. Zone the schools and put them back into the communities and make it possible for our children to have a good education again. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hello, good evening, Philip Alexander.
Yes.
Yeah, I called once before. I called in from New York, and I heard the guy talk about a great country go through civil wars. That might be so, yeah. But you know what? As a Trinidadian, I know a great country is measured by how well they can take care of the most vulnerable in the society. That is when a country is great. Indeed. Because the people are part of that greatness in the country, and Trinidadians are really, really loving people. The politicians mess it up, and you have something called musical chairs. One time for the PNM, the other time for the UNC. And now it is time to put things right and sweep everything from under the carpet out and move forward as a country.
Thank you for that, my friend.
And only then, Philip, that we will be recognized and respected in the world. Trinidadians would not hate one another anymore.
Thank you for that, my friend. Thanks a lot for that. Spread the word.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Every vote counts. Everybody should come out and give support.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for that. Sweden, Norway, Holland, Finland. They've run out of trash. Their recycling is so good. They repurpose, reuse, reduce so much of their rubbish that they've run out of rubbish. We are building more landfills. Their jails are empty. Holland is rebuilding jails now into apartment complexes because they have no purpose for them as jails. Their social services and their national security apparatus works so well, crime is nothing. Japan, they are trying to find other jobs to repurpose the police officers because Japan's crime is so low. And I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. Go and research Singapore's port. Why can't we bring some managers from Singapore's port and put them to run Trinidad's port? Step one, pick it up from where it is and remove it and put it in Point Lisas 50 times the size. Make Trinidad a shipping hub for the world. Make sure that we could unstuff containers to check and see who bringing in high quality cocaine and guns in the dog food. This woman who just made this jail, where she get her money to buy that guns? Miss me with that. You're giving us nonsense to hold and you're telling us hold it. How could a nurse bring in 17 guns? Come on, Trinidad and Tobago. We're being fooled. We're being fooled. Yeah? But look at the world. Look at the world and pick countries that we want to model ourselves after. Singapore. We could ask them to come and help us. If you move the port from Port of Spain, half the traffic done. But I was talking about the SEA. The Progressive Empowerment Party will destroy it, decimate it. We will remove it. We'll try to remove its memory from our history. The SEA is child abuse. And every parent who has a child go through that system will tell you it's child abuse. 10 and 11 years old, you telling a prepubescent child that what you do in this exam and the outcome of this exam will determine your entire life. Come on, man. Who is the monkey mechanic who came up with that? Who is the monkey mechanic? Who? Why is that person still walking around in this country? Ship them out. Send them somewhere else to do that nonsense. Not here. You will tell 10 and 11-year-old children to put themselves in the future and see what kind of job, what kind of school, what kind of friends. No, at 10. When they're still learning how to walk upright. Insanity. This country doesn't run like a real country. It's run like madness. We need to abolish the SEA. Make all schools 10-year schools. Assign a grade point average to every child. And make the teachers and the principals responsible for the performance of the children under their care. That's where you're going to get your bonus from. The school that make the largest improvement in the performance of their children, give all of those teachers in that entire school an extra $50,000 at the end of the year. Instead of giving it to political investors to mow lawns for the HDC, give it to people that really matter and count in society. Yeah? Give it to people who, when you reward performance at that level, you will inspire hope that will set our education system on fire. This is a nation of people so naturally brilliant that if you give them hope and opportunity, get out of their way. Get out of their way. They will change the world. Trinidadians have changed the world for centuries. And that's just education. If you zone the schools, traffic done. If you zone the schools, you rebuild the community. If you zone the schools and make it possible for even minimum wage earners to own a home, you will transform society. Parents will be able to stay home and raise their children. They now have an opportunity to do it. The children will go to school and grow up with the same teachers and the same principal and the same friends who live in the same community as them. All of a sudden, tight-knit communities weaved together, woven. You will have functional communities. A nation is a collection of communities. This is the type of governance the Progressive Empowerment Party stands for. Healthcare. Every constituency will have its own separate, independent, 24-hour accident and emergency outfitted, equipped with a minor surgery suite and its own ambulance. That gentleman would have never had to die on the ground like a dog. Wherever he come from, there would have been a health center set up to treat with him, and a supervisor of health for that constituency responsible for him and every other constituent who uses that system. And that's just health care. The moment you decentralize this country, you end the corruption. You put all of the public works, maintenance, and infrastructure in the hands of the constituents. All of a sudden, these overnight jet flying billionaire road pavers, that's a thing of the past. But we're living in a country set up for banana republic status. We've decided that we will continue to vote criminals and crooks into office. We've destroyed paradise. We've destroyed it. We've destroyed paradise. Go and, spit a pawpaw seed on the ground. In 6 months, you're picking pawpaw. Portugal, guava, orange, breadfruit, avocado, soursop. We have the best foods in the world. Our people starving. Julie mango, starch mango selling for $6.25 for one. Madness in a country that has never had a food policy since the 70s when we were a net food exporter. Now we have fertile food bearing land, growing razor grass and selling it to political investors to build strip malls and cineplexes. Where we going, Trinidad and Tobago? Where we going? You think we're trying to come into office to be business as usual? When we say clean house, drain swamp, we're not joking, We talk about a maritime security wall, that any marine craft that leaves these waters or try to come into this water will be stopped and checked. And if you refuse to stop, they will light you up. Proper security to stop the drug trafficking and the human trafficking and the guns, and to stop it. And a proper, well-trained police force. Proper, well-trained police force led by people who understand policing in the 21st century. Understand it. So that the public knows and the potential criminals, they will know. So when Jim called Charlie and said, we're going to put down our work, Charlie said, no, I'm not interested in that. And police are eating nice. Work done. I have a job tomorrow and courts waiting for me to pay for my furniture. We need to get to a place where the average person has hope and opportunity. Those are the watchwords of our party. Hope and opportunity. Once every citizen has those two things, get out their way. In every way. I don't want to be cussing doctors. I want to create a system. We want to create a system where our doctors could operate at the highest level of integrity and ethics. Yeah? Because doctors, when they come out of the system, I heard Kevin DeFreitas on the radio this morning talking about nurses. When nurses come out of the system, they are so bright-eyed and full of desire to serve. And then our system slowly demoralizes and breaks them down into the machines that would throw a citizen out of a hospital and leave him to dead like a dog. We'll just flip that script. Trinidad and Tobago, where we are now, is a failed nation. This is a failed nation. Political talking heads deciding for you craziness, absolute foolishness, arguing nonsense. I'm impressing myself that I am not using expletives. Food, housing, school, education, jobs, security. That's it. That's it. We could make, in 5 years, we could make water for all a reality. 41 different companies. Make Wassa a thing of the past. 41 different, separate, private, public sector joint ventures. You're responsible for your constituency, and if the people complaining about water, you lose the license to operate and maintain and deliver water. And it real just so. 41 separate companies. Think about that. Right now, the politicians just look at each other. They're sitting down around a table, drinking some scotch, watching my video and say, we could do that? Yes. Yes, you can do that. 41 separate water companies. All of a sudden, you will know where to take your family and live. Because if the people in Toko Manzanilla can't do a good job with water, move. Go somewhere else. 41 properly set up constituencies with the power, the authority, and the funding to run their constituencies so that the people will not vote jokers into office, because the people, like the people in Blue Basin and Rich Plain tonight, who begging, there are people who begging Philip come and represent we. I don't know how to do that. If I go up as the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party and I run for Diego Martin West, there's every likelihood that the tribal, racist, ghetto complex, HDC voter party nonsense will ensure that I lose. Keith Rowley or our next crapo in a Balize tie will win. And you'll continue to not have representation. Like the people in Rich Plain who complained that they didn't have water for 67 years. How is that possible? How is it possible that you could have a member of parliament for 31 years and you not have water for 67 years and nobody? I mean, come on. How is that possible? What did they do did they do a lobotomy? What did they do to make you think that you as a citizen have no rights? What did they do? What did they do to you? Now you have social media, and in these devices, you have the knowledge of the world in your hands. All you need is a data plan. Stop using it just for foolishness. Use it to educate and elucidate and raise your consciousness. Use it to get information so that when you're making choices, you make correct choices. When you're having conversations, it ain't how it will look or let it hang so. We need to get to a nation where the people have an idea of where they want to go. I want to know that Diego Martin West have and there are little counties in your constituencies, because the people of Westmoreland and Goodwood Park and Goodwood Gardens have a different worldview to the people of Mason, Covine, Factory Road and Diamond Vale. And that's a reality. Bagatelle. That's a reality. And we need to be able to make sure that our political representation, our delivery of governmental goods and services takes all of that into account. So you need to have a political system on the ground level where the La Puerta desk understands La Puerta different to Goodwood Park. Different needs. Completely different needs. Carenage might as well be a whole different country. Totally different needs. Bagatelle and Carenage, same constituency, two totally different things. I put out a manifesto when I ran independent. I said if you elected me, I would make sure that we'd get the money and build a marine university in Chaguaramas. They're building nonsense. Water park and restaurant and nightclub. I would build a marine university. This country is just outside the hurricane belt. That alone could dry up all of the idle labor in the whole East-West corridor, because a marine university would spin off plenty industry, from engine building, boat building, ship building. We could do that in Chaguaramas. We could do it in Chaguaramas. But we're building more things to get our people drunk and have them bent over, wind down to the ground, pasa, fool them, lobotomize them, treat them like fools. That's what we do, our people. That's what we've done. We give them no options. When you look at them, imagine yourself, all of you who talk big, who just want to bad talk these people who get themselves in trouble. Imagine your life without options. Imagine yourself without connections or easements. Imagine you as a citizen of Morpher, Beetham, Laventille and Sealots, who just to wake up is a challenge, because you're in a community of total despair, squalor, and random acts of violence. Imagine if that was your life today, trying to raise a family, raise your family, but you can't keep your job, or you're having problems, you can't get to work. I mean, the conditions of what we've done to our people is inhumane. Every government we've ever had, criminals, they're guilty of criminal governmental malpractice, as the fellow said last night. Abuse, crimes against the people. We need to change that. You cannot spend $600 billion in 10 years and people not have water. You cannot spend $600 billion in 10 years and the education system be so bad. You cannot spend $600 billion in 10 years and not be growing food to feed the nation. You cannot spend $600 billion in 10 years and have citizens dying like dogs waiting for health care. You cannot. That is abuse. That is criminal behavior. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, the Progressive Empowerment Party calls the citizens of this nation to stand together and call the government and the parliament to order and put them on notice that the next time we gather is to fire them. That's what we have to do. And if you want a better country, stand with us. Don't tell me you're wearing black because you're busy and your boss will fire you. Get another job. This is more important. Unless you are involved in some essential service critical to the operation of the country, everybody else should come out. Keep your children home from school. Come out. This is more important than taking time off our Germany football match and all that foolishness they distract us with. This is more important. Stand together. Come together, one people under one flag. The day you dismantle the political racism in this country, they're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and fool. That's Kurt Allen. David Rudder say, how we vote is not how we party. Listen to your Calypsonians. Tell you, the day you dismantle political racism in this country, the day we become one people under one flag, it'll change. You will get everything you need. You will no longer need to be a race to succeed. You will have an hope, an opportunity, entitlement as a citizen of a functional republic ruled by law. That's what we want. We can't do it alone. I could talk this, that's what I said, the reason I said last night was going to be last night till Friday. I could entertain you every night. I could talk for the next 3 hours. I could talk. What next? What happens after the talk? I do not want you to lull yourself into the belief that somehow this will magically sprout. It requires effort on all of our parts. We have to first disassociate ourselves from racism. We have to distance ourselves from the political necromancy that passed as governance under the PNM and the UNC. We have to move away from the divisive politics of racism that has separated the people to rule them. And we have to get ourselves into a position where we understand as citizens we are entitled to a certain quality of life. We are entitled to security of the person, affordable food, proper education for our children, healthcare that treat our people with dignity and respect. We are entitled to these things. And we must demand it. And if the government in power can't deliver it, we must fire them. Vote all out. This is where we are. And the numbers that come out, you don't need more than a day's notice. The 50-something million people that march against Trump came out in 24 hours. 24 hours from the plan to the announcement to hit the road. This is a clarion call to all of Trinidad and Tobago. What you need to do after this video is text and WhatsApp and call everybody. Don't do it passively. Call and say tomorrow you're moving with we. The same way as organized when you're going to the bar and you're going to the club, organize the same way. When we're going to pump, well, let me come out to save our nation. It starts tomorrow. All you need to do is show up. Because if we get massive numbers outside the parliament, the people inside the parliament will take notice. Your presence will call them to order. They know that I know, and they know that we know, and they know that we have a plan. So when we call them to order, the next thing is to hand them a plan. This is what we want for education. Cancel the SEA. This is what we want for healthcare. Decentralize it and make sure all of our people get healthcare. This is what we want for food production. Make us a net food exporter in 5 years, and you better make sure you're doing that as one farm at a time, 1 acre at a time, so many of our people can get work. This is where we need to go as a people. Move aside the distractions. Push aside the bullshit. Stop selling yourself fake dreams. Stop selling yourself that it can't change. Stop worrying about what the next man or the next woman going to do. You do. You come out. It starts with you. Once you and me and 10,000 like us outside that parliament, they will change their behavior. Trust me when I tell you. They will try to wiggle and twist, but once you get political power back in the hands of the people, the game change. The game change, and they will understand no more nonsense coming out of the parliament. That's where we need to go. That's where we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, need to go. Because if we're not doing that, you know what we're doing? We're managing a bad situation, looking for a way out. And that's wrong. That's wrong. I feel sorry for all of my people that call in. 90% of my calls is overseas. Why? Why they watching me? They reach outside. They're supposed to be happy. All of us think down and reach outside. You know what happened? Is remember, is miss home. It's miss home. Trinidad is home. And everybody trying to understand how the hell this blessed paradise is so dysfunctional and broken. How is it so when it is so easy to fix? Why is it like this? Why? Let us stop the bad talking and the name calling. Let us galvanize ourselves positively. Let us organize ourselves. To everybody who commented on this video, everybody who watched this video, call everybody you know. Tell everybody you know we're going out tomorrow at 1. We will be outside the parliament as one people, quietly, respectfully, law-abidingly, to put the parliament on notice that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are fed up of the nonsense and we don't want to take it no more. That we will vote them all out. The next step after this is the presentation of our demands for good governance. That has to happen. Recall, referendum, campaign finance reform and procurement to protect the people's money. That has to happen. And if this government doesn't want to do it, fire them. Fire them. Fire them. We will shut the country down. We have the power. We are the people. Nothing moves. We don't work. We don't buy. We don't sell. We don't show up. Once we start to do things like that, they will have no choice but to answer. You can't sail a ship that can't sail. You can't govern a country where the people don't want you. You can't. You cannot. Yeah? That's it for me.
Yeah. Revelation.
It's our second theme song. Vote them out on this. Not me jamming still. This. Tomorrow at 1. Where will you be? Where will you be tomorrow at 1? Man say he bringing his granny. Next one say he bringing his 3-month-old baby. Tell them in the parliament.
They reach right and they repeat because the children come in to take back the power of the word in the conscious styling. The power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk it all, you pump the gender. Talk it all, you bloody deceiver. Talk it all, you serpent master. Talk it all, you friggin' oppressor.
We in black tomorrow. Come in person. Don't tell me you're wearing black home. Unless you're out of this country, come. If the man on crutches come in, you could come. If the man bringing his 93-year-old granny, you could come. If the man bringing his 3-month-old baby, you could come. Come out.
He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. Next time. And who in there, the badly wounded? Who in there, badly wounded? Who in there, the badly wounded? Who in there, badly wounded? Talk your talk, the muffin pretender. Check the lyrics and I confess you're far too long. You're fooling the children, telling them everything. rush education, doomsday reach, and you retreat, the children coming to see that the street.
I stand up like a man to them. To the nonsense and the defamation and the lawsuits and the death threats. I stand up like a man to them. And they don't know what next to do. And I go stare down Short Man and Scarface. Just now, this game long. And my father teach me since I small. The race is not for the swiftest, you know. It's for him who could stay the course. This is the sum total of everything that I was born to do. I'm gonna make sure at the end game, all them bandits and criminals that pauperize this nation and put people to live in squalor, we will undo them. I promise you that. Start the game now. Put feet on the ground. Make the Progressive Empowerment Party a reality. Come out at 1 tomorrow. We are at the Parliament. It's at the waterfront. Come out. Yeah? Come out tomorrow. There is parking in the Hyatt multi-story car park. There's a nip deck car park across the road from the port. There is parking. Find yourself. Come on the water taxi if it's working. Come on a buffalo cart. Come out. Come out. Come out. Everybody. Tell your people. Come out. It's not about me. It's about us. It's a we thing. Come out. Tomorrow at 1, wear black. Come out. Thanks a lot for sticking with me tonight. This video went on long. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 1. I will be coming live from outside the Parliament at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.